Hey guys, happy Monday. Lindsay Lombardi here with Find Your Freedom Coaching. I figured I'd come on live today because I was about to fix one of my nails, and I figured why not share this with everybody else, because I know if I have this issue that you probably have had this issue as well. For you girls out there that specifically use gel nails. So the issue that I'm having today is I found a hack, I guess you can say, for when the gel nails are starting to peel off. It's been almost 2 weeks and I'm a couple days away from going to getting them redone. So I was like, well, why not share how I fix them? And then maybe this can open a conversation as well for other techniques. If you guys have a technique that you want to share, I'd love to hear about it. So I'm going to actually put my phone on the tripod. I won't be able to see, maybe I will actually be able to see some of the comments. So let me flip it around. Seems to be upside down. So give me a second. I'm gonna get the tripod set up so I can see what I'm doing. And the same thing for you guys. So here we are. All right. Hey, Connie. Can't see who else is on live. But I'll try my best. All right. And hopefully it stays. Okay. So if you've ever found yourself in the same situation when you have, for instance, a gel nail that is literally peeling up. So can you guys see that, how it's peeling up? So I'm going to show you how I fix it to have it last for a few extra days, especially because I like to go on like Thursdays or Fridays, which are my days off from teaching, and I have the extra time. So I like to go get them done on those days. So I'm trying to get this to last me a few more days. Since it's kind of early to get this fixed. So here's what I do, and I'm sure there's other methods, and if you have another idea or something else that's worked for you to fix them, you tell me. So I'd love to hear, because I've seen some other. So the first thing that I do is I get nail clippers, and I kind of fold over the area that's peeling. And the reason why I do it with the clipper method, or if you have cuticle cutters, you can use that as well. I'm using my left hand, so this won't work for me. For some reason, I'm like, I can't use it on my left hand. It's like strange to hold. So the reason why I do this rather than just, well, you can see this I actually kind of like cut already from me bending it. But instead of just pulling it, because what happens if you pull it sometimes, you can actually, what might happen is you're pulling even more of the gel nail off. So I'm going to cut it. I'm going to get this right in there and just cut it right at the edge. And you can see. So now it's sort of like a rough edge. You can keep going in and just cutting off where you need it. That way you don't peel off anymore. So, hey Jeff, why are you on this one? Maybe you can help your wife. So, all right. So here's what I do. So once I peel that off and clip it off, I'm going to take a, it's not really a too like coarse of a nail file. It's pretty smooth, so I don't want to go too coarse, so it's sort of like an in-between, and I just file it down to get it somewhat smoother, so that way it sort of meets the nail a tiny bit. So it won't be like a big huge like difference between where the gel nail is and where my regular nail is. So I'm just trying to file that area down a little bit so that way it just smooths it out. And it might like, there's a couple areas, you can see it's like kind of also taking off some of the polish, which is fine. Again, I'd rather get it smooth. And you can see it's sort of smoothing out a bit. So I'm just trying to smooth that out a tiny bit. And I already washed my hands, so that way the surface is nice and clean. It's a little bit messed up on the top. So I can see the bottom smoothing out, so now I want to get the top a little bit better. So you can keep smoothing until you get it. And you don't want to get too much of your regular nail, so just be careful of that. So it feels a little bit smoother now. You'll know what I'm talking about, because if not, you'll literally like feel a big difference, like it's going to keep peeling up almost. So the next step, and I already started working with some colors. So the issue here is that I have an amazing nail salon and nail tech that I go to. Shout out to Lena. So they always, over at Queen Nails, they hook me up. They always do a lot of like customized colors for me. So like I'll do like a couple different colors sometimes. And the reason being is because I love to put like a lot of sparkle on my nails, because my gel nails typically last me like 2 to 3 weeks sometimes. So if I do the sparkle, the little hack here with the sparkle is that when your nails start to kind of crack and like sometimes get some sort of like, I don't want to call it like a stress fracture, but you'll actually see if you have like a flatter nail polish on, you'll see the cracks in them much sooner, like sometimes after 5 to 7 days. So when I do the sparkles, you do not see that. So I almost always do sparkles. So you can see my nail growth. This has only been like about a week and a half. So my nails grow very quickly because of Shakeology, and then also because my gel nails last me pretty long. So this is just like kind of a workaround that I found to get them to last the full 2 to 3 weeks that I like to get out of them. But again, the caveat to picking a customizable color that my amazing nail techs hook me up with is that I don't have the color at home to put together. So this is actually 2 different colors mixed, or a coat of each. That's my other hack, is to only do 2 coats. Unless it's a super light, maybe like it's a lighter shade that goes on kind of thin. Sometimes that can be done where it's 3 coats are needed, but I typically do well with 2 coats. That's what gets it to last long for me. So I'm just messing around with a couple different colors to try and get a similar consistency, but like you might have a similar color at home. Again, I'm using regular nail polish for this part. I don't have gel nail polish at home, nor do I have any of those machines and everything. So I know some of you guys do. So I'm using an old sticker because it's got a plastic backing, so I can kind of mix around a couple different shades here and just try to get the right shade and the right amount of sparkle. So this one, you can see it's kind of got a bigger glitter in there, so that's the issue that I'm running into, unfortunately. But I'm just gonna try and get it as close to the color that I have now, which is sort of like a rose gold. So I got this so far. tiny bit more of this. And hopefully this will be it for the consistency. Can you guys see that? So I'm just mixing some colors. Sometimes you have something similar, and that's all you need is something somewhat similar to just camouflage. So it's not going to match perfectly, but it will barely be noticeable. So I'm going to go ahead and just add that on to the spot that I just took off as carefully as possible. So you can see it's a tiny bit darker. I can go over it, see like all of these shades are somewhat darker. And if I use too much of this gold glitter, what might happen is it picks up the gold flakes a little too much. So I'll go with that. So I'm just somewhat camouflaging it, as you can see. And then I'll let that dry for a minute or two. I have some lights up here. Sometimes I literally will cure it under the light because it does actually work. So I'll just put it under the light for a minute or two. And then when it's ready, I'm going to come over it. I have a gel-like top coat type of finish. It's not like regular gel, yet it's not like a regular top coat. So it gives you that gel-like thickness, although it's not gel. So once this dries in a minute, I'm going to go ahead and put this over it and cure that as well. And as you can see, I'm just trying to like also, you're kind of like, the idea of it is that when it peels, whether moisture gets in there or anything, it's going to start peeling off. It kind of breaks the seal of the edge. So like I smoothed out the edge and covered it up again with nail polish. So that will hopefully, you know, it also stops from more peeling in that spot to occur for the next day or two. So then normally what I'll do is I'll just let that cure near the light, and then if needed do a tiny bit more of the top coat just to make sure it's nice and smooth, or sometimes I'll do the top coat over the entire nail. So while I'm there, also one more thing. So the other hack, so the other thing that you can do here, and you can see like the glitter in this gold that I'm using is a much bigger little pieces of glitter. So you can kind of see that right here. So I can even like push that up a little further. The other thing that I do know, and I love that my nail salon does this, is that when they do my nails, they don't get super close to the cuticle. And the reason being is if you ever have gel nails that pull up a lot from the bottom, it could be because the person that you're going to is going too close to the cuticle. So what happens is you don't realize it, but like part of the bottom of the nail is going on top of the cuticle, so it's not gonna stick to the nail bed as nicely. So I almost never have that issue where they pull up from the bottom. But if you do, you can use the same type of hack or workaround, shall I say, for this. So again, when that happens, and you can also do this if you have a lot of grow out. So if you have a lot of grow out and you want to, you know, can't make it to the nail salon and you just have to fix it for like a day or two, you can do the same thing I just did, and right where the gel begins towards the bottom of the nail, do the same thing that I was doing. Just buff around it a tiny bit, file it down. So I'll actually do my other thumb because these tend to be more used, and then they end up being the ones that have the issues. So you can see I'm like filing the bottom of it just to smooth it out. And this is how you can get your nail to your polish to get a few extra days out of it. So I'm just polishing it and making it nice and flat so that way you don't feel the difference. And then I'm going to go over it again. This time I'm going to go over the entire nail, and I'm doing that because I just want to show you how you can kind of make it look like you have a fresh manicure by just filling in that little gap a little bit more. And unfortunately I was talking too long, so the nail polish is just getting a little bit too thick, so I'm going to add a little bit more. Thin it out a little bit. Can you guys see? I'm just going down almost to the cuticle and covering the entire nail again. Just going to clean that little area up. So there you can see, it's like the entire nail is now done in the new Let me go over the other nail again, a tiny bit. Let that cure. Let this one dry, and then I'm going to go over it again. I didn't do this one yet. Just letting it dry. Can you guys see? It's like almost unnoticeable. And then I'm going to go over it with a nice coat of the top coat and a gel-like finish. Make sure you get the top there. There you go. So that will hopefully get me, like, you know, another 2 days out of this, 3 days even, from when I'm planning on going. And you can see it's a little bit of a difference because of the shade and the amount, like the size of the glitter in there. But I could really go over each and every one of my nails like this if I wanted to. I was just showing you the full nail, just so you get an idea. But you can see, like, that's another hack to getting, you can see the difference between the two, like where I have a lot of cuticle showing to where I don't. You can also do that, like, let's say if you have a flat polish, you know, maybe your nails are red, maybe they are a color that you have at home, that you have the exact color, even if it's gel. I get a lot of the same colors, so I normally pick up, like, when they do the OPI colors, or what's the other one, the C and D. I picked up a lot of those colors too for the regular. So you can always touch it up the same exact way if you have the exact color. So that would obviously match a little bit better. So the other thing is, let's say you have like a plain color on, it doesn't have glitter, and you're trying to fill this in as well, or there's a little chip, same thing. You can go over, let's say you just wanted to, like, go over with a general glitter, you can put a glitter coat on top, and that way it will also camouflage whatever it is that you're trying to hide. So again, I hope that you guys have found this helpful. Unfortunately, I don't know, I didn't see if there was any comments or questions, or if you guys have any other ways to fix any gel nail issues that you might have prior to getting to the nail salon. But again, I hope you found this helpful. I hope you try it. I want to hear your thoughts and your ideas if you have some other hacks that you can share with me. So I'll be back on again tomorrow, hopefully with maybe something else fun. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.